Ladies and gentlemen, I want to talk about something today that might challenge the way you've been taught to live your life. Many of us grew up with a silent mantra echoing in our hearts: be nice, don't upset anyone, don't ruffle feathers, and above all, make everyone happy even if it costs you your peace. But what happens when being the nice girl starts to feel more like a prison than a virtue? Let me be real with you. Being nice has a price. And too often that price is you. You become the woman who says yes to everything but sleeps with anxiety because you've stretched yourself too thin. You become the friend who listens to everyone else's problems but cries alone because no one checked on you. You become the one who hides her voice in meetings, afraid that speaking up might make someone uncomfortable. Ladies, the world doesn't need another nice girl. The world needs you, your authentic, unapologetic, strong, and kind self. Let me tell you something. The idea that you can make everyone happy is a myth. Even the most selfless, gentle woman can't escape criticism. Some people will never be satisfied no matter how much you give. So stop exhausting yourself trying to earn the approval of people who don't even value you. There's a big difference between being nice and being kind. Niceness says, I'll do whatever you want, so you like me. Kindness says, I care about you, but I care about me too. Niceness is rooted in fear of rejection, fear of conflict. Kindness is rooted in strength that comes from a heart that knows its worth. So how do we step out of the nice girl box? First, reclaim your voice. When something doesn't feel right, speak up. Stop apologizing for having boundaries. You were not created to be a doormat, you were created to be a light. And that light can't shine when you're dimming yourself for others. I know it's scary. Rejection is scary. Losing approval is scary. But here's the truth. Rejection isn't the end, it's a redirection. The people who can't handle the real you don't deserve a front row seat in your life. When you let go of being nice and step into being real, you'll find freedom. You'll attract people who respect you, jobs that value you, and opportunities that align with your purpose. So here's my challenge for you tonight. Stop being the nice girl. Stop shrinking yourself to fit into spaces where you don't belong. Be bold, be courageous, be kind, and most importantly, be you. The world doesn't need you to be everyone's cup of tea. It needs you to be the fierce, fearless, and beautifully authentic woman you were created to be. Tonight, I want to talk to you about something that might challenge everything you've been taught to believe. Stop being the nice girl. For so long, we've been told that the key to being loved, valued, and accepted is to keep the peace, stay quiet, and mold ourselves into whatever others need us to be. It's like this unwritten rule: be nice, be accommodating, and you'll win people over. But what happens when being nice isn't enough? What happens when you've been bending, compromising, and sacrificing for so long that you forget who you are in the process? The world has conditioned us to believe that our worth is tied to how much we give, how much we do for others, how much we show up as the perfect daughter, friend, partner, or colleague. And yet, if we're being honest, being the nice girl often feels like walking a tightrope, always balancing between wanting to please and fearing rejection. We silence ourselves, afraid that if we speak too loudly, we might disturb someone's peace. We settle for less because we're terrified of what might happen if we stand up and say, "This is who I am." But here's the truth. You cannot pour from an empty cup. You cannot constantly give of yourself and lose sight of who you are without it costing you something. Too many of us have been conditioned to put everyone else's needs first, leaving our own dreams, desires, and passions buried beneath the weight of what's expected of us. We've been told that in order to be loved, we must be nice, but at what cost? I'm here to tell you tonight it's time to let go of that myth. The world doesn't need more nice girls. It needs more women who are real, women who know their worth and are unapologetic about who they are. Women who set boundaries, speak their truth, and stop dimming their light in the name of someone else's comfort. Because when you embrace the power of your authentic self, you give others permission to do the same. You don't have to keep shrinking to fit in. You were born to stand tall, to take up space, and to show up fully as the woman you were created to be. So let's talk about why it's time to stop being the nice girl. Not because kindness isn't beautiful, it is. But because being nice shouldn't mean losing yourself. Let's dive into the truth about who you really are and what happens when you choose to live from a place of power, authenticity, and unapologetic confidence. When we talk about the cost of niceness, I want you to really think about the weight you carry every day. Niceness doesn't always come with an obvious price tag. It's subtle, it's sneaky, and sometimes it's so ingrained in us that we don't even realize the toll it's taking. You've probably heard it before, be kind to others, and yes, kindness is beautiful, but niceness is the quiet, insidious force that says you should always put everyone else's needs before your own. Don't rock the boat. Don't cause discomfort. Don't ask for too much because people might not like you. We tell ourselves that being nice means we're loving, generous, selfless. But the truth is, niceness often leaves us feeling unseen, unheard, and at times unappreciated. We suppress our opinions, our desires, our truth, all in the name of keeping the peace. We start to feel like we're living for everyone else while our own passions and dreams are pushed to the side. How many of you have said yes when you really wanted to say no? How many times have you gone out of your way to please someone only to feel drained and empty afterward? Niceness can leave you feeling resentful because you've been giving and giving, but you're not receiving what you need in return. And that feeling of bitterness can start to eat away at your spirit. It's that quiet frustration when you've bent over backward to meet someone else's needs, but no one's there to meet yours. It's the quiet exhaustion that comes when you've spent so much energy trying to please people that you've forgotten to take care of your own heart, your own well-being. And then there's the fear of speaking your truth, of standing up for yourself, of taking up space in a world that often asks women to shrink. Being nice creates a barrier around you, one that keeps people at arm's length, because it's easier to be liked when you're always agreeable, always accommodating, always saying yes. But let me tell you something, no matter how much you've been, there will always be people who want more. It's like a bottomless pit. They'll always expect you to give more than you have. The real cost of niceness isn't just exhaustion, it's the deep, gnawing feeling of not being seen for who you truly are. You've been told that if you give enough, if you stay quiet enough, if you don't ruffle any feathers, you'll find approval, acceptance, love. But the truth is, when you lose yourself in the process of pleasing others, you risk the most important thing of all, your own sense of self-worth. You forget who you are and why you matter beyond what you do for others. And here's the painful reality: you'll start to lose respect for yourself. Because deep down, you know that the person you've become, someone who constantly sacrifices and gives without expecting anything in return, isn't truly you. You've built a persona of perfection, but underneath it all is a woman yearning to be seen, heard, and valued just for being herself. The cost of niceness is more than just feeling tired. It's the quiet erosion of your soul, your confidence, your power. So let me ask you, at what point do you stop sacrificing yourself just to keep the peace? How many times will you say yes when your heart says no? The truth is, niceness might make you liked for a moment, but it will never make you respected for the woman you truly are. It's time to let go of the cost. It's time to stop giving pieces of yourself away and start reclaiming your voice. Let's talk about something that so many of us fall victim to, the myth of universal approval. We've been conditioned to believe that in order to be worthy, we must be liked by everyone. From a young age, we're taught that if we want to be accepted, we have to make everyone around us happy. So we twist ourselves into all sorts of shapes, trying to fit into boxes we were never meant to live in. We become chameleons, changing our colors, our voices, our actions to match the expectations of those around us. We think that if we please enough people, if we win enough approval, we'll finally be seen as good enough, worthy enough, valuable enough. But here's the hard truth: you will never, ever win the approval of everyone, and trying to do so will only lead to heartache, frustration, and confusion. Some people will never like you no matter how hard you try. No matter how many sacrifices you make or how many smiles you put on your face, there will always be someone who judges, critiques, or misunderstands you. And that's okay. It's not your job to make everyone like you, it's your job to be you. The pursuit of universal approval is a trap that will drain you. You can't pour yourself into a bottomless pit of people pleasing and expect to come out feeling full. No matter how much you give, no matter how much you twist yourself to fit into someone else's idea of who you should be, there will always be more to give, more to change, more to sacrifice. And at the end of it all, you will be left with nothing but the hollow echo of trying to be what everyone else wants you to be. The reality is, the people who truly matter, the ones who will lift you, encourage you, and walk alongside you, are not the ones you have to beg for approval. They will respect you not because you contort yourself to please them, but because you stand firm in who you are. When you stop living for approval, you'll find that the people who truly value you are the ones who see your heart, your vision, your strength. They're the ones who admire your courage to be real, even when it's uncomfortable. There's power in embracing the fact that not everyone is going to like you. It's liberating. It's freedom to know that your worth doesn't depend on the opinions of others. You don't need to prove anything to anyone, because the person you need to impress the most is already staring back at you in the mirror. So stop seeking approval from people who will never give it. Stop dimming your light just to avoid making someone else uncomfortable. The myth of universal approval will keep you stuck in a cycle of self-doubt and fear. The truth is, when you let go of the need to please everyone, you'll begin to attract the people who will celebrate you for exactly who you are. And isn't that what you deserve? Let's take a moment to really understand the difference between kindness and niceness. Many of us use these words interchangeably, thinking they mean the same thing, but they're not. Kindness is genuine. It comes from a place of authenticity, from a deep, loving heart that seeks to help others without expecting anything in return. When you act out of kindness, you do it because it aligns with your values and who you are. It's the kind of love that flows freely and is unconditional. It's not trying to earn anything or fit into any mold. Niceness, on the other hand, is often rooted in fear. It's the desire to avoid conflict, to be liked, to stay in the good graces of others, even if it means betraying your own feelings or desires. Niceness tells you that you should always agree, always comply, always be the one to accommodate, even when it goes against your own truth. Niceness is about playing a role, wearing a mask to make others comfortable, even if it costs you your peace. Now, kindness, when it's true and pure, knows when to say no. It knows when to speak up and set boundaries. Kindness is powerful because it's rooted in self-awareness and self-respect. You can be kind and still say no. You can be kind and still prioritize your needs. In fact, true kindness doesn't require you to lose yourself in the process. It allows you to show up fully as who you are, and from that place of strength, offer love and help to others. Niceness, on the other hand, is afraid to say no. It's afraid of conflict, it's afraid of being misunderstood, and it's afraid of not being liked. Niceness doesn't allow you to have boundaries because niceness believes that your worth is dependent on how much you give and how well you fit into the boxes people have created for you. But here's the truth: niceness will leave you depleted, frustrated, and resentful. It will lead you to keep giving, keep pleasing, and keep shrinking yourself, all while leaving your own needs and desires in the background. The difference is in the foundation. Kindness is built on strength and self-respect, while niceness is built on insecurity and fear. Kindness honors your worth. Niceness seeks to avoid the discomfort of standing up for yourself. When you choose kindness, you empower yourself and others to grow. When you choose niceness, you become a slave to the expectations of others, and you lose touch with the woman you were always meant to be. So ask yourself, are you being nice because you're afraid of what might happen if you speak your truth? Or are you choosing kindness, which allows you to show up as your full, authentic self, loving and serving others from a place of power, not fear? The beauty of kindness is that it doesn't require you to dim your light. It gives you the freedom to love others while loving yourself first. We've all heard the phrase, be nice, and we've probably all tried to live by it at some point in our lives. But here's the thing: niceness is not the same as kindness. They may sound similar, but they come from two very different places within us. When we choose to be nice, we're often doing it out of a desire to fit in, to be liked, to avoid conflict. It's a behavior that's driven by fear, the fear of rejection, the fear of being seen as too bold, too strong, too much. Niceness asks us to shape, shift, and mold ourselves to meet the expectations of others, even if it means hiding pieces of who we are. It makes us feel like we must suppress our true selves in order to maintain harmony, to keep the peace, and to earn approval. But here's where it gets tricky. Niceness doesn't honor our true worth. It asks us to give, to comply, to agree, even when it doesn't serve us. And over time, we begin to lose sight of who we really are because we've spent so much energy trying to be everything for everyone else. Niceness is like a mask we wear, pretending to be someone we're not just to make others comfortable. It's exhausting, it's unsustainable. It doesn't allow us to show up as our true selves. On the other hand, kindness is rooted in strength. It doesn't require you to shrink or shrink back in order to make others feel better. Kindness comes from a place of abundance, a place of inner peace and self-respect. When you choose kindness, you're making the choice to show up authentically without pretending to be someone you're not. Kindness is not about pleasing others at your expense. It's about offering love, compassion, and care from a place of deep inner security. When you are kind, you set healthy boundaries because you respect both yourself and others. You're not afraid to say no, not because you don't care, but because you know your time and energy are precious. Kindness is also about truth. It's about being willing to speak up and stand firm, even when it's uncomfortable. It means offering support without expecting anything in return, giving freely because it comes from a place of genuine love and care, not obligation. Kindness asks for nothing but the opportunity to love, and it allows you to do so without compromising who you are. Kindness is powerful because it's rooted in the understanding that you are enough just as you are, and you don't need to prove anything to anyone. Niceness, on the other hand, is rooted in insecurity. It's constantly trying to gain approval and avoid rejection. When you choose niceness, you lose yourself because you're constantly bending to the will of others. You feel as if your value depends on how much you can do for others, how much you can give, how much you can please. But in doing so, you're forgetting that your worth is not defined by your ability to make others comfortable. So ask yourself, are you being nice to avoid conflict, to stay safe, to please those around you? Or are you being kind because you've embraced your worth, your value, and your truth? Niceness seeks approval, but kindness seeks authenticity. Niceness plays it small, while kindness stands tall in the fullness of who you are. The difference is profound. Kindness is about love, and love never asks us to compromise our integrity. It asks us to show up, to speak up, and to stand firm. So the next time you find yourself reaching for niceness, ask yourself, is this who I really want to be? Or is it time to let my kindness shine through instead? Reclaiming your voice isn't just about speaking up, it's about owning the power that's been inside of you all along. For too long, we've been taught to keep quiet, to blend in, to soften our words, and to make ourselves small so that others can feel comfortable. We've been told that to be liked, we must be agreeable, polite, and invisible. But the truth is, there is a strength in you, a voice that deserves to be heard. It's time to stop hiding it. The moment you decide to reclaim your voice is the moment you take back your power. Your words, your truth, your opinions, your boundaries, they matter. For so long, we've silenced ourselves for fear of judgment, rejection, or confrontation. We've held back the fire inside us because we were afraid of the heat it might generate, afraid that our boldness would push others away. But what if I told you that your voice is your power? What if I told you that your authenticity is the very thing the world needs? When you stop hiding, when you stop shrinking back, you open up a space for your purpose, for your message, and for your destiny. Reclaiming your voice means no longer apologizing for who you are or how you feel. It means standing in your truth even when it's uncomfortable. It means honoring your desires, your dreams, and your boundaries without guilt. You are not here to play small. You are here to shine. Your voice was given to you for a reason, to speak truth, to stand for justice, to inspire others, and to create change. But it starts with you first. You have to give yourself permission to be heard. You have to trust that what you have to say is important enough to be shared, and that your perspective, your story, your voice matters. There's an incredible power that comes with speaking your truth. It's a power that cannot be taken from you by anyone. It doesn't require permission from others, and it doesn't demand validation from anyone. It is a strength that comes from deep within, rooted in your understanding of your worth. When you reclaim your voice, you send a message to the world that you will no longer be silenced. You will no longer be intimidated into silence. You will no longer allow fear to keep you from living out your calling. But reclaiming your voice isn't just about speaking louder, it's about speaking with conviction. It's about saying what you mean and meaning what you say. It's about using your words to uplift, to challenge, to inspire, and to move forward. It's about setting boundaries and holding space for your own needs. It's about saying no without guilt and saying yes to what aligns with your values and purpose. Reclaiming your voice means that you are no longer afraid of the discomfort that comes with speaking your truth. You know that discomfort is simply part of growth. It's part of the journey of becoming the person you were always meant to be. When you begin to speak your truth, you give others permission to do the same. Your courage will inspire someone else to step into their own power. Your authenticity will create a ripple effect that echoes far beyond your immediate circle. You will no longer be a passive bystander in your own life, but an active participant in creating the life and the world you want to see. Reclaiming your voice is a revolution. It is a declaration that you are done being quiet, done being overlooked, and done being afraid. Your voice is not a tool for pleasing others. It's a weapon of empowerment, a way to assert your worth, and a means to make your mark on the world. So let your voice rise. Speak boldly, speak with conviction, speak with confidence. Your voice is the key to unlocking your full potential, and it's time you used it to open doors you've only dreamed of. As you walk away from this moment, remember this: your voice is your gift, and it's time to claim it. No more shrinking, no more silencing yourself to make others feel comfortable, no more holding back for fear of judgment. You are worthy of being heard. Your truth matters. The world is waiting for you to speak, to rise, and to shine in the fullness of who you are. So let your words be a reflection of your strength, your resilience, and your purpose. Reclaim your voice and watch how it transforms not just your life, but the lives of those around you. You have the power to change the course of your destiny, and it all starts with embracing the courage to speak your truth. Go ahead, speak up, stand tall, and then never again apologize for the power of your voice. You were made to be heard. Now it's time to let the world listen.